Torn over a fault line, bad teeth and worse habits, high heels in a trailer. If you want it, you should have it. Cracking like a glacier, any semblance of restraint. Simple observations of a tired out complaint. I get in my own way, I get in my own way, I get in my own way. I get in my own way, I get in my own way, I get in my own way. Amplify watches, glass up in the sand, panning through the static for the sound of the fan. Underneath the bleachers, on the fringes of the game, chanting combinations of some tired out complaints. I get in my own way, I get in my own way, I get in my own way. I get in my own way, I get in my own way, I get in my own way. Lucians fill the picture, gossip magazines, holes in both my sneakers. I'm the last one off the train, pulled by the horizon, by the burning yellow flame.
And everybody's got to run. And ain't nobody gonna hold you. And everybody needs someone. Don't try to go alone. Don't say I never told you. When you wake up tomorrow and your heart ain't feeling right, I'd love to steal up all of, say goodbye to pain and sorrow every day and every night. I once heard somebody say, this is living don't come easy, and you never find your way. And if you try and walk alone, you're already lost, believe me. And if the word rings true, and this darkest before light, somebody and get together. Make love last forever, every day and every night. When you gonna turn when the whole damn world is beating you down? What about when you get burned from the tricks you never learned? Now you're dead on the ground. The story's sad, but it's true. And it can get the best of anyone.
Hey you, I know this is the right way. You move me in the right way, and I'll be running, running to you. Hey you, I think we're in the right
soft, turn the key and cool on. Push the pause for relief. Free facts, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through. Today I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line. Loosen up on the grind. Simmer down, settle back and mess around. Be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through. Today I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone. Be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Stretch out, lean back, be the cat. Stretch out.
Try my best to find you in the morning and the night. I know there's so much love, it's blinding, but still I'll never get it right. When I'm lost within the fire, will I find you in the flame? With you I know I'll never be alone. My God, when I'm feeling all alone. My God, will you carry me back home? If you made us to be happy, why do we always seem so sad? Will you stay here and remind us you're the only hope we have? When I'm lost within the fire, I will find you in the flame. With you my God, will you carry me back home? My God, will you carry me back home? My God, when I'm feeling all alone, it's you that I need, it's you that I need.
If you look back straight and see a crooked line, don't you worry, love. Give it a little time. It feels like everything is running past you fast, and you watch the sand slipping through your hands. I know it's hard, but that's okay. Gonna make it out today, and they'll follow you everywhere. We'll make it through the dark. We will get out of here, but baby, we'll never part. Every scar you've earned means you're still alive. Every twist and turn gonna get you by, and you try to grasp what is happening. Baby, it won't last. I know that one thing. I know it's hard, but that's okay. You're gonna make it out someday, and they'll follow you everywhere. We'll make it through the dark. We will get out of here, but baby, we'll never
Every day isn't shining like today. Beauty rising, I can say I have seen mountain highs and some valleys. Yeah, I've shouldered some baggage, felt the weight of some burdens, carried shame, cried in pain, took the lies and put them on me. I will leave it at the altar, God. I leave it at the altar, God. I leave it at the altar, God. Oh, I will give you everything I've got. Oh, I surrender all and leave it at the altar, God. Oh, yeah. All the glory is shining are the visions that I've seen and I've held on so tight. Turned out they were holding on me, on my skin, digging deeper. All I saw in had to learn. All I wanted was always there, deep inside me. So I leave it at the altar, God. Leave it at the altar, God. Leave it at the altar, God. Oh, I give you everything I've got. Oh, I surrender all, yeah. Leave it at the altar, God. Oh, I give it all away. I give it all away. I give it all away. Oh, have selling books. I could be tying knocks. You could be a fairy tale, and I could be a chimney. You could be a wildflower. I could be a broken tower. You could be the Queen of Spain, and I could be Eisenhower. Even if we had different names, different stories, different eyes. Nothing could ever change.
Perfect bodies in the shallow blue, drifting faster than we should. Golden hour paints a dream like you. Even dreams start playing too. I am leaving, tell me what to do. I can feel us slipping away. Treading water, yeah, what's the use? I just hate playing these games. Love drifts soft in the light. Come on, meet me at the poolside. Late July, you're on my mind. We were never meant for this life. It's a way that we're moving on. Summer's gone before you realize. Moonlight's melting in the water is cold. Some things just fade and we let them go. Perfect bodies in the shallow blue. Didn't think you'd look for me. Would it kill you just to make a move? Nothing good comes for free. I am leaving, tell me what to do. I can feel us slipping away. Shape emotions ain't nothing new, but I still break just the same. Slow drifts soft in the light. Come on, meet me at the poolside. Late July, you're on my mind. We were never meant for this life. It's a way that we're moving on. Summer's gone before you realize. Moonlight's melting in the water is cold. Some things just fade and we let them